When somebody says they just don't have the money, they just don't have the funds, they just don't have the budget, I kind of want to walk you through 4 steps that will help you be a lot more skillful in dealing with, I don't have the money, I don't have the budget, I don't have the funds. Fair enough? Here's what I want you to do. Step 1, okay? So Jason says to me, you know what, Matt, we really appreciate it. We want to do this deal. I'd love to get this platform in place or whatever it is. I just don't have the money right now. Step 1, I want you to agree with them. Okay, we're not going to go down this road of, oh, come on, it's not that much money, and there's going to be a huge ROI in this, and you guys really need to do this. None of us want to do that. I don't want you doing that. It's not skillful. Okay, so I just want you to say something like this. You know, Jason, makes sense. Just out of curiosity, if you did have the funding, is this something that would work for you? Okay, the reason why we want to ask that is a lot of times people will tell us, I don't have the funding, we don't have the budget, I can't get this approved right now, when it's something else. Like this partnership, it's going to require us to not have Pam working for us anymore, and they're not comfortable dealing with having let somebody go, even though that might be the best thing for their business. So what they're going to do is kick that can down the road a couple more quarters, because who wants to fire somebody, right? So they're going to say, you know what, we don't have the funding for this right now. We don't have the budget for this right now. To which you'd go, hey, makes perfect sense. If you did have the funding, if you did have the budget, is this something that would work for you? Now, the people that actually don't have the funding or budget will all say the same thing. Who wants to take a guess at what they would say?
I wish I could do this now, but we can't.
Yeah, we can't. It is something I would want to do, but I don't have the funding, okay? So this is going to give you, now you clearly know that funds are the issue, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to slow down and go, hey, I totally get it. Money aside, funding aside, budgets aside, right? Why do you feel it would work for you? And this is really easy for us to do when we're training. Really difficult. This is one of the most, like on a scale of 1 to 10 in difficultness, this is a difficulty scale of probably an 8 or a 9. Because our egos, which by the way, this is a ridiculous thing for us to think this, but our ego thinks, like if I ask Kay, hey Kay, money aside, why do you feel this would work for you? That Kay's going to go, you know what, now that I think about it, this product sucks. I don't want it. Now I realize this is not something, nobody's ever going to say that, okay? You need to be comfortable enough to ask those uncomfortable questions like, okay, I get it. Money aside, why do you think this would work for you? Well, I got to tell you, our payment velocity is totally messed up. We're not collecting things. We had an issue last year with a previous employee that they ghosted us, and then we had no idea where all their receivables were. There was 2 weeks before we were able to hire somebody else. The office almost went completely sideways out of one associate that had decided she didn't want to work here anymore. Now I'm like, okay, now not only has Kay solidified with me that this is something that she wants to do, but now Kay has said it in her own words. And if you guys remember from last week's session, it's important to get that person to talk about their problems from their own words. We are spot on, all systems go. Kay wants this, Kay needs this, Kay can articulate why she wants and needs this, and money is just standing in the way, all right? Which brings us to step 3, and we need to be really skillful on this, because here's the mistake. Does anyone want to take a guess at what the mistake most of us make in sales when we know Kay wants this, we know Kay needs this, we know Kay's got to have it, but she just doesn't have the money or the funding to do it? What's the mistake that we make? Who wants to take a guess?
We give a discount.
Yeah, like 4 of you got the right answer there. I think it was Kara said it last, right? Let me give you a discount, right? Well, if I can knock 10% off, could you do this? And I'm not saying that doesn't work, but that's a non-skillful way to do it. Because the problem with discounts is what? The problem with discounts is they don't know, they can't jump inside your head and know, well, Jason's being really cool with 5%. You know it would be a lot cooler, 10%. You know it would be a lot cooler than 10%, 25% plus no payments for, this is how the retail world came up with that no payments for 27 years stuff, right? Because these deals, these discounts have to just keep getting better, bigger and better, bigger and better. It's a race to the bottom, right? And at the end of the day, it leaves you still in the same place you were, with the deal closing on the same, within days of when it would have closed before, yet now you're giving a bunch of a discount. So what I want you to do is, again, ask a difficult question. This is an 8 or 9 on a difficulty scale of 10, and say something like this. So Jason, how do you think you could resolve that so we can find the money and get this implemented, and you're not running into another situation with another associate where the same thing happens again like it happened last year? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat back that reason that Kay or Jason or Matt or John gave me as to why they want to do this. But the key word here is not, what can I do to help you with this? Before I ask anything around that, I want to say, how do you think you could resolve that? Or how do you think you could find the money? Or how do you think you could find the budget? Because if I just say, Jason, what do I need to do to get your business? You're thinking discount, discount, discount. But if I say, Jason, how do you think you could resolve the budget issue? Or Jason, how do you think the practice could find the money so that we can get this going, so that you're not exposed continuously to the same thing that seems to happen year after year after year, where the money's not coming in, and God forbid we have an associate leave and we don't know where the files are, or whatever it is that they say. When I say, how do you think you could find, that causes Jason's brain, even though this is an area where we're afraid to go, to actually think how Jason could find the money. And this is really bizarre, and you have to just trust me on this. When you try it, you will see this happen. You have to trust me. They're going to start thinking of creative ideas. Well, you know, we did have, you know what, now that I think about it, we were supposed to do an employee event, and that got canceled. Interesting enough, because that associate, the same one, was in charge of planning. I know there's about 15 grand in that. I could talk to Tony and see if we can move some money around here. So I could come up with 15 right away. And then honestly, if you guys could, if I could just do 15,000 on that first payment, and you guys could possibly delay the second payment, or at least they're giving you ideas. But if you just say, what can I do to get your business? That's not going to get their brain thinking in terms of solving that problem one bit. But there's two pieces of that that are really uncomfortable for us, right? And that is, the first one is, why do you think this would, if funding aside, okay, why do you think this would work for you? And then shutting up and letting them tell you. And then the second one is, got it, Jason, totally get it that funding's a challenge. How do you think we could resolve this so we can find the money to get going on this, so you guys can improve the payment velocity, have the top line revenue that you need, and not have to worry about the exposure from last month? So I want you guys to play around with this. I want you to practice this. I said there was 4 steps. I only went through 3. The fourth one is this. If they come up with nothing, which you're going to be shocked at how few times that happens, but sometimes they're like, I don't know, we just don't have the budget. I want you to simply remain calm and go, got it. What's a good next step then? Right? Well, I'm just not sure. Makes sense. What's a good next step on my end? Can you call me back in March? Yeah, I'll put a note in March, and let me kick around a few ideas on my end as well, and just talk to some of my other clients. I know you're probably not the first one with this problem. How about we do this? I'll see what I can come up with on my end, and then circle back with you, call it next Friday if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough? Yeah, sure, that sounds good. Okay, be NSO, set that next step. But you're going to be shocked at how often they'll say things like, man, you know, now that I think about it, I can do this. Now that I think about it, we can do this. Hold on, let me call Sarah in here. Sarah, this is Jason. We're working on something. We're a little bit of a ways apart on the budget. Sure, what do you guys need? Well, we really need this new platform. Remember what happened last year? We really need to get this. What can we do, Sarah, to make this thing happen? Right? At least now you're being collaborative. If you just throw up a discount, they're going to be like, okay, let me run it by Sarah and see what she says. We want to have a conversation. We don't want to just keep throwing discounts. We might as well open a mattress store if that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to do no payments, no interest for 11,000 years. Because once you start throwing discounts, you just got to keep going bigger and better and bigger and better. And it's just a race to the bottom. And the weird thing is, the client still buys at exactly the same time they were going to buy anyways, because they're not bought into finding a solution. Sales reps, managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, what I'm about to tell you, this is gonna hurt, but trust me, it will be well worth it. I want you to think back to that excitement you had when you first got started. Maybe it was your first day. You thought about all of the lives that you were gonna change with your amazing product, your business, your service, your solutions. And hey, let's be honest here, you were gonna make a lot of money in the process of helping people, helping businesses change their lives. But it didn't work out exactly that way, did it? If you're anything like me, if you're anything like most people in sales, you found it was just a little bit more difficult to close those deals than you thought, or maybe you're struggling right now. Now, I warned you, this is the part that's gonna hurt, but in order for this to work, you and I need to be honest with each other. I want you to think about all the reasons that you're not hitting your targets, all the reasons you're not making the sales that you had anticipated making. Is it the economy, your competition, your territory, your pricing? Maybe it's your manager, your product, your service, your solution. Here's the part that's gonna hurt. There's a 94% chance it is none of those, and it's time you face reality. The reason why you have to work so hard just to close a single deal has nothing to do with the economy, nothing to do with your competition, your territory, your manager, your product, your price, your service. The reason why it's so hard for you is you simply haven't learned a better sales process. But wait, you've had sales training from your company. Yeah, I did too. You've read some sales books. I read just about every single one of them. Or maybe you're saying to yourself, well, I was always born a salesperson. Nobody is born knowing how to sell more than they're born knowing how to speak Cantonese or fly an F-22 fighter jet. And by the way, the right sales process is a lot easier to learn than a language or flying an airplane, but you still have to learn it. My name is Matt Easton. I'm the founder of Easton University, and if you'll let me coach you, I can show you how to sell more than you've ever imagined without being pushy, without being manipulative, without following some super complex system where you spend more time trying to figure out what stage your deal is in than actually closing deals. If you will let me coach you, you will never, ever, ever, ever find yourself blaming the economy, your products, your price, your manager, your territory, your competition again, because you're gonna be in total control of the sales process and the outcomes. I've devoted my life to unlocking the perfect sales process, and I want to coach you the same way I've helped thousands of other people in the exact same position that you are right now sell a reported $3.47 billion, yeah, that's billion with a B, over the last 12 months. I've been where you're at right now. I know how to help you. I can show you in just a matter of minutes what will take you years of trial and error to learn on your own. Now, if you've made it this far, but you're saying to yourself, it can't be that simple, just trying a new sales process alone will not get me to where I want to go. I know exactly what you're feeling. I said those exact same things, and I was wrong. Having the right sales process changed absolutely everything for me. So I want you to do me and yourself this favor and spend just a minute or two over at eastonuniversity.com checking out what we've built. Now, if you spend a couple minutes and you decide that our coaching can't help you, it can't help you change everything about your career, everything about your life, no harm, no foul. You can continue to do things the way you're doing them right now. But just imagine, what if you head over to eastonuniversity.com right now and it connects with you? What if it is that simple? Suddenly everything starts to make sense and everything changes for you. Your career, your income, your goals, your company. You start heading in the direction you always thought you could. Isn't it worth taking a couple minutes and seeing if that might be the case? Easton University is more than a platform. It's more than live coaching with me. It's your future, and you and your future are worth it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you and I have met each other, and I look forward to seeing you over at eastonuniversity.com right now.